Hi, my name is Seema Chandra and with me is my co-host Sarika Bansal. Sarika is a nutrition expert, a health coach, and she's been in the food industry for the last 15 years. She lives by her wellness mantra, and I can tell you she lays out the most spectacular table ever. Her food philosophy is go step by step, no fat diets, and she believes that the slow and steady always win the race.
Thank you, Seema. That was very generous, but you are no less. She's just not a food lover, but she's a powerhouse in the world of food and nutrition. She helped set up NDTV's food portal 20 years back. She was our favorite food show host who introduced us to a lot of global cuisines. And not to mention, she has a master's in public health. So trust me when I say that you are going to have a ball with all her knowledge and stories.
Thank you, Sarika. In Good Taste today, we're discussing the power of protein. Now, interestingly, 9 out of 10 Indians are protein deficient. 91% vegetarians are protein deficient, 84% non-vegetarians. Certainly something that needs to be looked into.
So true, Sherry. And if you can see the smile on my face, you know why it is, because I love talking about protein and promoting protein, and that's what I like to do. So I'm very happy we are doing this, because the more the people hear it, the more they get the knowledge, hopefully they'll try and use it in their diet. So, you know, always the Indian thali was supposed to be the most nutritious thali. And then suddenly everybody's obsessed about protein. So I was doing some reading, and it came out that protein actually came into notice is around 2000 when the Atkins diet came in. So suddenly when an Atkins diet came in, they said, okay, don't eat carbs. Now, if you're not eating carbs, you have to eat something else. And that's when they researched and they said that protein is what is you need, and you don't eat carbs to lose weight. So that went on. But in India, it became more prevalent in 2015. And that's because people were getting awareness about the fitness. So the gyms were opening up and people were talking about being fit. And second of all is the awareness of the lifestyle diseases, thyroid, diabetes, weight. And everybody realized that they have to take more of protein to deal with these diseases.
Right.
But when people actually started following this is when the COVID hit us. So with the haldi and the kadha we were taking for our immunity, protein was the other thing which got more importance, because it helps in repairing muscles, antibodies it helps in making, and also helps with the immune cells.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, it is, when you think about it, it is a bit of a fad in the last some years. Everybody's talking about increased protein. But I like going back to numbers, you know me.
Yeah.
So there was this prodigy study that was done across 7 cities, Sarika, in India, which said this 9 out of 10 Indians are not getting enough protein. Who are the ones who are worst affected? Women and children. So that got my public health lens sort of, I wanted to look into it deeper. Now, here's some good news. In rural India, there was this study done in 2025, right? And it's surprising. It says that in rural India, the intake of protein has actually gone up. Because historically, yes, they were eating rice and coarse grains. And here's the deal. The shift has been from rice and coarse grains to more aspirational products, they call it, such as protein-rich eggs, meat and fish. The consumption of fruits has gone up, and nuts. Isn't that? See, look at the look on your face.
I mean, and rural India.
In rural India, there has been an increase. So that's good news.
That's really great.
I'm thinking that it's also, and this is the latest household consumer expenditure survey. This is what it says. The HCS survey, it's called the 2022-2023 survey, is also showing that the consumption of pulses and milk and all of this is going up. So that's the good news. We're forever talking about, what's bad. So there is, like you said, a lot of buzz around why protein is important. I'm going to keep going back to studies. So what we'll do today is we'll sprinkle this whole yarn about protein and have a lot of discussion about how can you increase protein in our lives as Indians living here, not about fancy salmon and tuna. Although we will talk about quinoa. But also because it's more easily available. But let's keep sprinkling and telling everybody what can you do in your day-to-day. So it's not just gyan. This is good for you, this is bad for you. I mean, we do want that gyan. So right on top, first tell, this is your domain, I know.
No,
why protein?
I mean, we will, our forte is that we will give them some easy recipes. And every time when I talk about protein, it's about layering up. So it's not just that one source. You can add stuff to it. So this way that every meal you're eating is more wholesome and has more amount of protein in it. But before I go on, let's talk about why is protein important. And the first and the foremost thing is collagen. Everybody knows is actually, again, another fad word right now is collagen. People are talking about collagen, eating collagen. So that's a type of protein, and we need it for our joints. We need it for the elasticity on our skin. We need it for our hair and nails. That's the most important thing, but protein, you need protein for. The second most important thing it does is transport. So it helps in the transport of oxygen through hemoglobin, and also it transports some nutrients. And the third thing is immunity. So antibodies is a type of specialized protein, and we need protein to synthesize these antibodies for them to fight against the virus and the bacteria that attack our system. So these are the main three functions of protein.
Yeah, and one of the things, Sarika, in public health that we did a lot of studies on was that if there isn't enough protein, especially amongst children, it can lead to stunted growth. And this can have huge implications on children's nutritional profile. So without a doubt, it's needed. And I don't want to get into details, but right on top, one should say that what is the recommended dietary intake of protein for Indians? They say it's 0.8 grams for your per kilogram of body weight. So it means if somebody is 70 kilograms, then they should have about 56 grams of protein. Now, this actually means nothing for the average listener. What do you mean 56 grams of average protein? Nobody is going and opening their packets and looking, acha, I've eaten 10 grams, now I'll eat 6 more. No one is doing the math.
Nobody is measuring. And when you have food on your plate, there's no way to figure out how many grams it is. You do not have a weighing scale at that time. So I have come up, with this measuring thing, which is just by visual, you should be able to approximately gauge how much protein you're eating. So like a palm size piece of a chicken or a fish, which is around 100 grams, will give you between 22 to 26 kilograms of, grams of protein. So that's an easy way of figuring out.
20 is one palm size chicken. That's not bad.
So like even if you're having a chicken curry and it's boneless chicken pieces, so if you take 4 or 5 pieces, you approximately know it's coming to a size of your palm.
It's about, you're saying it's 20. Okay.
So that is a easy way.
So for my body weight, that's half the protein I need in a day.
If you're conscious, if you make a conscious effort, then it's not difficult. The number looks very large, but it's really not difficult. The molecule of protein is made up of 20 amino acids, out of which 11 is non-essential, which are made by our body, and 9 which we have to get from our diet. These 9, it's not like the body can store them. So you actually have to eat adequate diet daily for the body to get it, and then they go around mixing it with the non-essential amino acids to make that protein molecule. So these essential amino acids are very important to get from your diet.
So that's interesting that you're saying we need a bit of both. Now, traditionally, Indian diet, Sarika, was such that we, to your point earlier, why did it become so popular? Traditionally, it was thought that you're eating dal chawal, meat chawal, fish chawal in different parts of the country. Your protein intake should be adequate by doing that. But what we've not realized is that thanks to our consumption of ultra-processed foods and packaged foods, the protein consumption could be happily going down. So gone are the days in the past where we were actually eating very wholesome meals alone. That's number one. And when I hear you, when you talk about essential and non-essential amino acids that are in the body in protein, One of the things that everybody wants to know is about plant protein versus animal protein, because I've often heard that animal protein is a complete protein, plant protein may not be a complete protein, and that's also not totally true, because there are plant proteins like tofu where there are complete proteins.
But generally any animal protein, if you take, it's a complete protein.
Okay.
So if you eat egg, you eat chicken, fish, whatever you're eating, which is a dairy product, everything you eat which is an animal source, it's a complete protein. Whereas a vegetarian source is concerned, there may be profile of amino acids which they have, there may be some which they are missing. There are plant proteins which are complete proteins, like you already said.
Yeah.
Examples are like quinoa, amaranth, kutu, then tofu.
That is.
That is buckwheat.
Yeah.
Tofu.
Yeah.
These are the few which are complete proteins. Then there are vegetarian sources which are not complete. But what is interesting is that if you can combine two vegetarian sources, they form a complete protein. And these are not something which it's made up now. These are how we have been eating these products.
In my mind, when I look at an Indian diet, right, and again, I don't want to confuse myself, but it's important to know, traditionally, if you were having dals, peas, matar, which is peas, right? You're eating your dal, you were told protein, you're having good amount of protein. You're having nuts and seeds, even your almonds. Again, we can talk about which are better, which are worse. There's a hierarchy between almonds, amongst dals, but that was also considered protein, right? Legumes were considered, nuts were, and of course your whole grains, which there's been a lot of talk about in the recent past, that you should have millets, your oats, your buckwheats. That's also considered great protein, and of course quinoa, as we said. But I do think that it's important for us to, through the course of our chat, talk about an Indian diet, and let's Indianize the whole thing. Like, I was fascinated to know that moongfali or peanuts have more protein, much more, than say almonds. The minute you know that, what comes to my mind is, hey, brilliant, if we had chicken, which we all do, satay with peanut sauce, that's super high protein.
Yeah.
So to your point, one palm you said, if I'm having 2 skewers of chicken satay with peanut butter, although that's not Indian, but doesn't matter, we'll come to Indian ones also. But that is a complete protein. Like, not just complete, but that's like a powerhouse of protein.
That's the layering I was talking about. The two protein sources you're eating together.
Right.
But combinations which are complete plant sources, which are complete protein, and the combinations are like dal chawal or rajma chawal. So there's some essential amino acids which are missing in rajma, but because you eat it with the rice, which is there in the rice, it becomes a complete protein. Then same thing with chana, eat with a roti, or chana, hummus. Everybody's eating hummus with pita bread. So chana and wheat, because something in chana, there's I don't want to get into the names, nobody cares about them, but there's an essential amino acids in chana, which is missing. And when you eat it with wheat, you're making it a complete protein.
Ooh, then I have to tell you, because you're saying you have to eat it with wheat to make it a complete protein, but I did something with chana, which was white chana, soak it, boil it, put it in the air fryer, hardly any oil, okay? And because I keep thinking, how much hummus can you eat? And plus snacks.
Yeah.
Can we get more protein from snacks? And we'll talk about protein bars later, because in my eyes, they are not the best snacks to have. And I'm sure you agree with me. So therefore, these chanas, you just air fry them, put paprika, lemon, and then you can put them in a jar. And Sarika, it's crunchy, 0 oil almost. And that's a jar of protein waiting at you. So it's not complete, if I hear you, but it's a lot of protein to just have when you're snacking. I mean, you can't have it best.
That's a great, I want to try that recipe actually. Because
I will send some to you.
Yeah, please send some, because I tried it in the oven and it didn't come out crunchy at all,
Air fryer.
Yeah.
And also to bigo it for a while. You have to soak it. So this one can do, which is great to do protein. And so we need to Indianize it. And please tell everybody about your favorite chia. Because you put it in everything.
Yeah.
Especially breakfasts.
Chia, it was getting very difficult for me to use it. And then what I started doing is I would take 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of chia, cover it up a little bit more of water in it, in a bottle, in a glass bottle. And I would shake it up, and it's kept in my fridge all the time. Because it's ready, then it's very easy to use. So if I'm having coconut water, I'll put 1 tablespoon. That's like 3 to 4 grams you're getting right away. Then if you're having your dalia, put it on your dalia. Recently I've started adding it in my raita. It is just so nice.
It makes it nice and gloopy actually.
Yeah, it makes it thicker. It makes it thicker.
Yeah, because chia absorbs the liquid.
So it's just
and also,
so easy.
I believe you can put it in pancake batter, which I've not tried, but I've heard that you can put chia in pancake batter. Also because I've taken this thing from you, you put it in your protein mix in the morning, which I'm also having regularly, with the pumpkin seeds. Now, if you have that ready, say if you're doing a dessert, quick dessert with yogurt. Any dessert with yogurt, you can put cocoa, chocolate, what you want, and add the chia. Adds a nice layering to it. I think it could be quite nice with desserts also. Worth trying.
I like it.
Yeah.
You top it off with any fresh fruit, seasonal fruit, like right now mangoes.
Yeah.
Top it up with mango. It's fantastic.
Chia and mango.
Chia and mango, fantastic.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Again, now coming back to Indian diet, what my grandmother used to give me a lot of was kala chana, the chota kala chana.
Yeah.
You know, when we were kids, it was just a snack in the house, boiled and had. Now you see it in some forms of salads.
Yeah.
You see it in salads. That could be like a nice sort of way to consume protein again.
100%.
Without looking at for vegetarians again.
Yeah.
This is great for vegetarians who don't
That's
want
a
to
great
eat
vegetarian source.
kala chana,
Yeah.
white chana.
Yeah,
We could
that's
do.
good. Other thing I've started using nowadays a lot is sattu. That's also concentrated protein, and
Good for summer.
good for summer. It's cooling. But you know what I see, Sherry, is when you tell them to eat these things, they take it as a punishment. They're like, oh my God, you have to eat this. You have to eat the ragi roti. You have to eat sattu. Like, my life is gone. I'm doomed, you know. It doesn't have to be that way. Make it interesting. So I make this sattu lassi,
Okay.
which is again layering. So I take yogurt, which you're getting protein. Then I add sattu in it. Then I add whatever spices you want, bhuna jeera. I can grate some ginger in it. Add water, and you make a lassi out of it. It is just so tasty. And
Okay, I'm
so
gonna
easy,
try
and
this.
in the summer, so easy to have.
When should you consume protein? There's a lot of talk about that, right? And they say that at breakfast, if you can get a good start, a kick start at breakfast time, it's great, which is what I do. Straight away with eggs, you get your protein. You add a protein shake if you want with chia and sunflower. You get your protein there. You do oats, you get protein in that. So in the morning, if you can have it, I think it takes the pressure off through the rest of the day.
Yeah. I also do things like people in their houses, poha is made, upma is made, sprouts are made for breakfast. These are common vegetarian breakfast options which people have. So I top it up with 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seed and some sesame seed. Just on top, I've got 3 grams, 4 grams of protein.
That's great.
And it's so easy to eat. It gives that crunch to whatever you're eating. You're eating your sprouts, you're eating your poha. It gives that little crunch. And you've added the protein along with it.
So I can show off, Sarika, about Indian vegetarian recipe, talking about breakfasts, is theplas.
Yeah.
Because theplas is, you make thepla with, say, chickpea flour. You add methi to it. So that's a methi thepla. And if you want for good measure, put in flax. A little bit of flax, a little bit of sesame. And you've got like a huge protein boost out there. The other one last thing, I spoke about moofali, right? Interesting. Boiled moofali has about 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. Roasted moofali has double the amount, almost double, 24.4 grams. Which is great. I mean, I'm so happy to hear that because I love having mufuli just roasted as a snack. Little bit of coriander, little green chilies, sauteed onions. You know, like the kind of things we ate in clubs when we were growing up. Club food.
Yeah.
Great. You just have it lying around for a cricket match you're watching, and that's protein again for you.
Yeah, so that's osmosis.
I love this. We're showing off about all our recipes. So much nicer than just talking about studies.
Okay, so good point, Sherry. Immediately at breakfast, if you're careful, you get at least half of your protein at breakfast. Other thing is post-workout. And I have seen a difference in myself. Immediately or 2 hours, up to 2 hours after your workout, if you consume protein, something protein shake or sattu lassi, like I said, I have seen less body pain the next day. And I have noticed that on myself. So that's a very good thing to add after your strength training, especially.
Got it.
And other thing is, of course, the best way to do it is even distribution throughout the day. Whatever works for you, whenever works for you, just make sure you're getting enough protein.
Throughout the day, right?
Throughout the day.
So I have to talk about some study. Can't do without it. Fascinating. There's something called the protein paradox study, which was done across 16 cities in India. And this study showed that, as I said earlier, 95% of Indian mothers said that they knew that protein is a macronutrient, but only 3% understood what was the real reason to have protein. They didn't know. Here's the kicker. 70%, more than 70% of mothers Indian mothers believed in the myth that protein is difficult to digest, it leads to weight gain, and is only for bodybuilders, and it's too expensive to procure. Can you imagine? This is India for you. Good to know this. And furthermore, 85% of the cohort of mothers said that protein, they do not think that you need to prioritize it. Vitamins and carbs is much better for themselves and children. So that just means that the general perception which we started with is they felt, "Arey, we're in India, rice, dal, chawal, we're having milk, dahi, it's good enough."
Yeah.
That was the general feeling. Clearly, there needs to be more education about it, more
100%.
awareness, I think. More awareness.
So when I talk to my clients, I always tell them, when you're putting food on your plate, always put protein first. You know, just instead of going and just adding anything, put the protein, whatever protein is there. Is it non-vegetarian, vegetarian, whatever.
Yep.
But put that on your plate first. So this way you know you have to eat at least this amount.
Yeah.
It's very important that people get educated about it.
A lot of us in India find it very constricting to eat tofu only in Asian food. I did try tofu bhurji, not my favorite.
Yeah.
I do make tofu kebabs, which I love. I can sneak it into kebabs. It just adds a nice kind of. So if you've got even chicken, nothing stops you from saying, "Let me bind it and put a little tofu in it." That's the way I sneak it in. Otherwise, nobody in my family is going to eat tofu. I can assure you. So that is one thing.
I love tofu. I can eat it. I can just eat it raw also, actually.
And think about it, actually. If you put it in an Indian curry, anything, it'll be a bit like paneer. It'll absorb the curry flavor.
I make my palak paneer out of tofu. I never add paneer to my palak paneer.
Okay.
It's palak and tofu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shall just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything more.
Other thing very nice, I mean, one more thing to add, which I'm not sure how many people eat, is soya nuggets.
That's what we used to eat as kids all the time.
And easy, it's a vegetarian non-veg. You can make kebabs out of it. You can add, I make keema matar, like soya matar kind of a thing with it. So that's another very great way of adding protein to your diet.
That's such a good idea, Sarika. I can't believe, because that's what we used to do as kids.
Yeah.
I hated those Nutri nuggets, or I shouldn't call it name, but I didn't like the big ones. So I used to make keema with the chotu ones.
Yeah, the granular ones.
But I tell you one thing, They were not easy because they used to be a little chewy. So I would keep soaking them, throw the water. Soak them again, throw the water. When you soak it 2-3 times, that's when you can make
really
it. And then you just
hydrates.
grind it. And then it's brilliant as a kebab. In fact, there used to be a constant tussle. I would make the kebabs and say, don't tell anybody if they're non-vegetarian or vegetarian.
I remember
Nobody
that
could
happening.
tell. If you put garam masala, you cannot tell. How can I forget that soya?
Soya chunks
How
are
cool.
And I have to tell you this, I went for a trek to Himachal, and when we finished our trek, we stopped at a dhaba to eat food, and they put that Nutri-Nugget, the big one which you don't like, in curry. It was fantastic.
Like in curry, as in curry chawal curry.
Curry chawal. Instead of pakoras,
Yeah.
they put those Nutri-Nuggets. I mean, I don't know if we were very hungry at that time and we had just finished
I think you were. I think you were.
But we loved it. It was just so different and tasty. We loved it, you know.
Okay. I think you were hungry. So, Indian food, Sarika. You said dal and chawal and rajma and chawal. Then I'm thinking chila with paneer. Straight away, dal, and you've got your paneer. Right? So the two go tango very well. Chicken tikka with roti. So kathi kebab, not with maida roti. With a good, nice wrap made with whichever flour. And
we didn't talk about quinoa.
That
is quinoa again. I use quinoa a lot. And I try to use quinoa everywhere where I can substitute it for rice. So I've made quinoa biryani with the chicken or a mutton in it. I use it, instead of eating, going back to what I said, instead of eating chana or rajma chawal, which actually is a complete protein, I'll end up eating rajma and quinoa. I eat my dal with, so I try to substitute it wherever I can substitute it with rice instead of rice.
Time to wrap up. We've today shared our recipes, shared what we do in our kitchens, and discussed what people can do, especially vegetarians. Everybody knows chicken, meat, fish, protein is great. That's the takeaway. And I think we could end by saying that prioritize stuff. Don't go for fads. No one is saying, oh, you must have more protein. Certainly don't link it to somebody who has bulky muscles only. Right? If you're having it after your...
Very good point.
You're having it after your workout. We're all, doing some form of exercise. We all need it. Don't need to go to any extreme. Prioritize it. See if it works for you. And if it works for you, at least these are great ways of inculcating protein in your regular diet.
Good point, Sherry. And I would just wrap up by saying, whenever you're taking your food, remember to put proteins first. So this way you don't eat less protein. And other thing is layering. With nuts and seeds, you're getting that extra protein very easily without realizing it. So it's a wrap today.
Yes.
Eat well, eat well, live healthy, and always keep it in good taste.